What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to discuss the latest trade rumors around Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu. As Casey Johnson said, many NBA teams are calling about these two guards for your Chicago Bulls. And also later today, the Isaac Okoro Lonzo Ball trade that went down Saturday morning. I slept on it a couple of nights, and I want to give you guys more of my full thoughts on this move. It was an interesting move by the Bulls, and I have mixed feelings about it. So we'll break that down here in a second. But we will also be going live for NBA free agency that kicks off today at 5 p.m. We're going live an hour and a half before. So if you guys want to tune in, make sure you hit that subscribe button today and click that notification bell. We'll be going live at around 3:30. So hit that subscribe button today. Don't miss a thing. It should be a hectic time for our Chicago Bulls. Now, I do want to flash this tweet here real quick, and then we'll talk about Coby and Ayo here in a second. But Dave_BFR tweeted this out saying, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and now Lonzo Ball have all been traded, and the Bulls didn't get a single draft pick in return. What an absolute joke of a franchise, and I couldn't agree more with that second part of this tweet. But, I am frustrated with the Bulls haul for getting from these four players. And, clearly the Bulls, their front office, they value players in return instead of draft capital. And I think that's ludicrous because this team is nowhere near competing in the Eastern Conference. They are stuck in purgatory. And they just want to continue funneling in and out players who will still somewhat keep them relevant, have them somewhat winning games, but they will not build for the future. Again, where is the plan? What are we trying to accomplish? The same questions that we have been asking 2-3 years ago, we're still asking today. And also for all the people that were ridiculing me for saying the Bulls should trade DeRozan, the Bulls should trade Zach LaVine, and then when they eventually did so, they couldn't get a whole lot in return, it's because the Bulls held on way too long. Yet again, another example with Lonzo Ball heading to the Cavs is another example of the Bulls holding on to an asset couple months or even a whole year too long, and then you getting not as much as you would want in return. But let's shift here to Coby White and Ayo. Casey Johnson tweeted this out saying, Bulls remain active in the trade market. FYI, I've heard more chatter surrounding Ayo Dosunmu than Coby White. And I think that makes sense. I think teams should be calling for Ayo over a guy like Coby White just because of his two-way ability. Clearly, they watch the NBA playoffs, and you need guards who can defend at a high level. But I will say this. If the Bulls trade Ayo Dosunmu instead of Coby White, I will actually crash out. I know I've crashed out a lot covering the Bulls over the last couple of years, but this would be a move that would just be the nail in the coffin for me. Because I understand Coby White is a much better scorer than Ayo. He is better with the basketball in his hands. He's a better three-point shooter. He's a better three-level scorer. But still, Ayo, what he brings in transition on the defensive side of the floor, it outweighs significantly what Coby White brings to the basketball court. And if you look at the raw numbers, you would probably say I'm crazy. Oh, why would you rather have Ayo? Why do you think Ayo's got more trade value than a guy like Coby White? Well, Coby White, all he brings to the floor is on one side of the basketball court, and that's offensively. He is a tremendous scorer. I understand that. But also, I believe what Ayo brings to the court is just significantly more valuable than what Coby White does, because Ayo is one of the best point-of-attack defenders. And I think you need that archetype of guard next to Josh Giddey compared to Coby White. And I actually do believe you could get more in a trade for Coby over Ayo. And maybe you have to take advantage of a poor-ran NBA organization, which teams have been taking advantage of the Bulls for the last couple of years. And I was thinking, and we'll talk about this more for the Lonzo Okoro trade part here, but I got a weird feeling that Lonzo Ball will be playing in high-leverage games, conference finals, NBA finals next year. And how funny would it be if the Bulls trade Caruso, they get a young player back, Caruso wins a ring, Bulls trade Lonzo, they get a young player back, and then the Cavs go and win a ring. I don't know. It just seems like the Bulls just cannot do anything right, and I think them trading Ayo over Coby White would literally be organizational malpractice. I can't see an argument on why you would want to keep Coby next to Giddey over a guy like Ayo, but maybe you guys disagree with me. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Pick one to trade. If you had to choose one here, are you trading Ayo or are you trading Coby White? Give me an 11 for Ayo Dosunmu, or give me a 0 for Coby White. Now, another wrinkle here, the Lonzo Ball trade. I thought Casey Johnson made a good point here, saying the return of Tre Jones is a realistic possibility. Billy Donovan and the coaching staff love what Jones brought. He'll have interest from several teams in the market, but don't rule out the Bulls re-signing Josh Giddey and Tre Jones. And I probably should have mentioned this on the video we were doing Saturday here on the channel. But, it does make sense for the Bulls want to bring back Tre Jones, because Tre Jones was actually probably the best piece you got back in that Zach LaVine trade. He impressed me a whole lot. He controls the game very, very well. He plays at his own speed. He never gets sped up, by other, opposing guards. And he was awesome for the Bulls. In 18 games, 11.5 points, 3.2 boards, almost averaging 5 assists a night, and shooting the ball incredibly well from the field and also beyond the arc. So I would bring back Tre Jones. I think that's a kind of a no-dub move for the Bulls, because if you don't, who's your backup point guard? Like, you don't have one right now. And it's so funny. When I was talking about the Bulls potentially drafting a guard in the second round of the NBA draft, people were saying, no way, we already have too many guards. But just one trade of Lonzo Ball, you're probably going to trade off Coby or Ayo. That guard rotation is already looking super, super thin. So I think Tre Jones, it's a must you have to bring back, or else who's going to run the second unit? You would have a good playmaking guard that can get these young athletic wings in positions to score. So I'd bring Tre Jones back. Curious to see what he would get. Maybe he gets the taxpayer MOE around $4 or $5 million, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. They won a free agency. Now, we'll talk about the Okoro Lonzo Ball trade here in a second, but if you guys want to get a 2 t-shirt pack for about $20 off right now, head over to chatsports.com/Bulls combo. Normally, these are going for $50 for both the t-shirts, but right now, they're $30. So take advantage of this deal while it lasts. It's in the comments section and description of today's show. Chatsports.com/Bulls combo. Click that link and get yourself some new Chicago Bulls merchandise today. All right, so the Bulls-Cavs trade. It was just a straight-up swap between Lonzo and Isaac Okoro. And my immediate reaction when I woke up this morning, I was just kind of thinking about Lonzo's time with the Bulls. And, it is disappointing it didn't end up working out. But I will say, credit to Lonzo. He's going to go play some playoff minutes for the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I can't wait for. I'll be rooting my tail off for him and the Cavs to advance in the playoffs, just to see him potentially in the NBA Finals. But it's also just a joke that the Bulls reportedly turned down a first-round pick from the Memphis Grizzlies, but you accepted this? Like, the Grizzlies had the 16th pick in the draft. They ended up trading up to 11, but that 16th pick could have been yours. You could have landed that center of a future. You could have got a guy like a Thomas Sorber potentially at that spot, or any of the other centers. But you saw enough from Isaac Okoro for you to be like, oh, yeah, we turned down that first-round pick, but we saw what Okoro's given the Cavs. We'll bring him in. And Okoro's an interesting player because he definitely, his strengths reside on the defensive side of the floor, which I love. He is a very, very good defender. And I will say the three-point shooting percentage is a little misleading because teams would just leave him wide open. And he wouldn't take a lot per game, and he did end up shooting a decent percentage, 39% this past 2 years ago and 37% this past year. But we've also seen Okoro offensively completely fizzle out in the playoffs. And these are in 18 minutes per game numbers. Like, only averaging 5 points, 41% from the field, 30% from beyond the arc. Like, there's really nothing offensively that you can hang your hat on for Okoro. And again, just why? Like, why did the Bulls make this deal? Like, you could have gotten some draft capital. I would have rather taken a second-round pick than trading for Isaac Okoro. I don't understand why. Also, you strapped yourself financially because at least with the Lonzo Ball contract, because they both necessarily had a 2-year, $21 million deal, but at least with the Lonzo Ball deal, you had an out. There was a team option on the second year of that contract. With Okoro, he's locked in. And if you guys remember, the 2020 NBA draft, who did the Bulls take at number 4? Patrick Williams, a complete bust. Who did the Cavs take at number 5? Isaac Okoro, pretty much a complete bust for being a top 5 pick. So maybe the Bulls will be picking up, maybe James Wiseman in free agency. I don't know. They also have Jalen Smith, so they have 3 guys in the top 10 of the 2020 NBA draft. There is no plan. There is no direction. There is nothing that this front office has done right over the last couple of years. And I have been sick and tired of it for a couple years now. But even some diehard fans who are just, faithful to this organization, they're starting to get pissed off too. But we'll see what happens. But let me ask you guys this. If you think you can do a better job as the Bulls GM compared to Mark Eversley and Arturis, just hit me with a me down below in the comment section. I hope to see 1,000 me's on today's show because Chicago deserves better. Bulls fans deserve better. I think we're a great basketball city. And one playoff series win, I think, in the last 12 years now for the Chicago Bulls. It's incredible stuff. That's hard to do. So if you guys think you could do a better job, hit me with a me down below. And also hit that subscribe button on your way out. Appreciate all of you guys watching today's show, and we will see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.